My name is Jim Burr. I got into telescopes, back in the early 80s. Actually, I got my first patent in 1983. Took a class in astronomy and built a telescope, but it wiggled. Every time you try to focus, can I get Saturn sharper? And so you'd have to wait 15 seconds for it to wiggle. The whole background was always ability to work with your hands and weld, and I think maybe a gift. I may have a gift to see things simply. When I was a kid, we built our own toys. You know, I'd make a little box, make a corn planter. Okay, take some mayonnaise jars with the wheels, put a hole here and put a hole in the jar, so when you pull it along, whenever it came around, the corn would fall out, you know, that kind of stuff. We just basically made your own toys. My dad was very good. The whole family was very creative. My dad had 3 brothers. 3 of them were quite inventive. Even Grandpa was too. I have dyslexia, and I had a really hard time in high school. I still have a hard time. I can't spell. I look at letters and they're H, vowel, and TH, and those words, they're backwards. High school, I just barely made it through high school, except for physics. When we got to physics and electricity, the professor said, well, why don't you just teach the class tomorrow? So in that area, I was really interested. But in other things, I tried to go to college for 1 year and dropped out there. And then the rest of it's just been kind of self-educated. You know? If you're really interested in something, you can dig it out. Well, I started out in my garage, you know, and our kids would make these little wire the motors up and so forth, and start selling that stuff. And every morning I'd go down and package up some of these little motors and ship them off. Pretty soon, this was making more money than the TV business was. I should have stayed in my garage. I actually made a lot more money there. And then when we started hiring employees, when we made that telescope, we actually had 7 employees working out of our house in Evergreen. We built 50 of those 18-inch telescopes up there. I mean, getting a check from NASA from a guy like me who's a high school dropout, actually I tell people I'm a dropout. My body graduated from high school, but my mind dropped out a long time before graduation. So that was probably a pretty big highlight of my life, to get a couple checks from NASA. He says you need to invent a declination motor. That's the part that moves the scope up and down. If you take pictures, you got to have a declination motor. He said 5 times I'm in the dust trying to find my belt. It just fell off of this little thing. I came home from that, it got my attention. I built a snap-on motor. What I guess I was getting at was, I think I have maybe a gift to see things mechanically simply, you know.